Today's guest is a sister Canuck. She's a Vancouver professional wrestler. She claims to be like a 90-degree angle. Always right. She's half intoxicated and hopelessly outdated. My girl, Nicole Matthews. Lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. It's very strange that we've never met each other.
I know. But now that COVID's over, hopefully there'll be more travel.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've only been to BC once, and it wasn't even anywhere good. It wasn't even to Vancouver. I could, you know what? It was a small town. It was with TNA, and I think we were coming down from Seattle. We were on like a coach bus.
Oh, was it like Abbotsford?
Abbotsford. That's what it was.
Yeah, no good.
No, it wasn't. I already knew. It was like, you know, the Americans are like, oh, this is how Canadians live. And I'm like, no, this is obviously like a holiday place, like a lot of bed and breakfasts. Like,
it's, Abbotsford's a weird city. It's a little Bible belty too. And it's,
interesting.
Not my favorite city in the Lord.
Fair. Are you from Vancouver then?
Yeah, so I live in Maple Ridge, which is about 45 minutes outside of Vancouver. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about little baby you growing up. What were your interests? Did you dance, music?
So I always watched wrestling, so I was always interested in that the whole time. But
do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have an older brother, so we would watch it together.
Cool.
And pretty normal childhood, honestly. Like very, you know, two kids, parents still together, white picket fence.
A nuclear family.
I know, crazy, right? So plain.
I don't know what to think of this. So normal. Good for you.
Yeah, I guess, but it really makes for not very interesting backstories and like stories about my past.
I think it kind of does, because like you're like a little bit of a unicorn. You don't really hear that much anymore. So it's totally a good story.
Yeah, you know, the whole, and like, not that I'm practicing anymore, but I grew up Catholic, so there's a religion part of it too. You gotta add that in if you're stereotypical, right?
Yeah, I'm Catholic too, so
cool.
Yeah.
So you get it.
Yeah. Oh, let me fix this before this is terrible. Hold on one second. I was like fighting with my hold on. Maybe I can just move that out of the shot. There we go.
Nice.
Okay, sorry about that. So in school, like did you favor any subjects? Was there, obviously you loved wrestling, but did you have some sort of, were there other wants, other dreams?
Yeah, so I played volleyball and swam competitively, so I was always very active. So yeah, swimming in particular took up a ton of my time, because, which looking back on, you're like, why did we train that much? It was like overtraining, in my opinion.
For sure.
But I was training like up to 25 hours a week at one point, like 8 times a week. Like it was, and I was like never that good of a swimmer, you know, like I was fine. I was good. But I wasn't like some Olympian swimmer or anything like that. So it really makes you like sit back and wonder what we're doing to our young athletes a little bit, because it was really unnecessary and completely delayed my growth, actually. So I'm like I'm 5'8", but I was 5'3" when I graduated from high school. Oh no, I was 5'3" when I stopped swimming in grade 10.
And then you blew up 5 inches.
Yeah, it was crazy. Wow. And like gained a bunch of weight, obviously, too, right? Because I was so skinny. And like, TMI maybe, but didn't hit puberty until way late. Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah. Like I had a lot of gymnasts and all that, experience that as well, right?
Well, I went to a high performers high school where it was like gymnast, synchro, competitive swimming. Yeah. And then if you played like baseball, hockey, whatever, it was great, because if you're a high level athlete and you trained that many hours a week, it actually worked towards a credit. But nice. I always remember the 4 swimmers, they were like in the pool at like 5:30.
Yep.
And I'm just like, that, like, you all look amazing, but like
not worth it.
No. But a lot of them had like that same ricochet effect when you reach that age where you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to be an Olympian, and why am I killing myself? I also want like a high school experience.
Yeah.
As soon as they hit puberty, as soon as the weight goes on, you know, they have time for boys and partying. Like, I would say like the high level swimmers actually had kind of the more troubled later teens into their 20s because they didn't get to experience anything, you know, like everything in moderation.
Yeah.
That was just what I saw.
No, that's kind of my experience too. Like, and again, I wasn't like a super high level swimmer, so I probably didn't experience it quite as dramatically as other people who are like national level swimmers and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, like it's like it just took up all my time, which is like common for athletes.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't get my period till I was 17. Which is, looking back, I'm like, pretty sweet.
Yeah, this super sweet. Well, here's what my gut reaction is, you didn't get your period till 17. I got my period at 9.
Whoa.
I was so young that I didn't totally understand. Like, I knew what a period was, but I was also like, when I saw it, I was like really upset and scared and like, thank God I was home. And like, I don't know what the like legitimacy is of this, but my doctor was like, well, she eats a lot of red meat, so it might be like the hormones. And I was like,
really?
Should I be a vegan? Because, like, that's some bullshit.
That's crazy. I've never heard that before. I ate a ton of red meat when I was younger, so I didn't experience that.
I don't know. Like, it was the 90s. That just sounds like...
That's such a 90s thing to say. Yeah.
Like, it just... I don't think science would, like, back any of that up. But
no, I think that's a completely 90s thing to say for sure.
Just tell them this.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Eat more eggs or less eggs depending on what year it is.
More milk.
You know?
More milk.
Yeah. I'm getting paid by the dairy industry to say that, so drink more milk. It'll
exactly.
Make your bones stronger.
Totally. You know what? I saw a TikTok video the other day, and it was someone. May I ask, how old are you?
34.
Okay, so you were totally... So I was born in 86, so we're just marginally... Okay. Yeah. There was a guy on TikTok who is of our age, and he was like, remember when we used to just drink glasses of milk?
Yes.
Like full... Like you would just like, I just want multiple glasses of milk a day. Like,
yeah.
Do kids... I don't think kids do that now.
I don't think so, but it's crazy to think how much milk we drank. Like,
yeah.
It didn't really hit me until like after I moved out of my parents' house. Like, and I was like and I was living with my boyfriend and my husband now, and we just never bought milk. And I was like, and then I'm like, wow, I used to drink so much,
to the point where I remember my parents being like, easy on the milk, it's not that cheap. Like, we weren't poor or anything.
Pump the brakes.
But I just couldn't get enough milk, and like that was like, my son is 3, so he drinks a lot of milk, but he's like lean and like a hyper freak, and I mean that in the nicest way. Like, he's my child, so I'm totally like accepting the karma of the situation.
You're like, yep, I've earned this.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm like, the calories are good. Like, they're good. There's nutrients and whatever. But like, I'm talking about when we were like 8 or 9, you were just like crushing glasses of milk.
I think up until I was like 18, I was crushing glasses of milk. Like,
so
it's
weird.
Crazy. Maybe that's why you got your period early. You're all the hormones in milk.
Just red meat and milk. No vegetables unless they were frozen. Like, that is a 90s kid in a nutshell.
Oh, 100%. Meat, potatoes, frozen vegetables. That's a dinner right there. With a big old glass of milk.
Big old glass of milk. And like, if you were like fancy, get toaster strudels in the morning. Or Pop-Tarts, but like some sort of sugared cereal. Like,
oh, yeah. Oh, and there's more milk right there.
More milk.
So much milk.
So this podcast is brought to you by milk. I'd like my endorsement money now. Thank you.
We're bringing back the got milk advertisements, you know.
That is what the visual for this podcast is going to be. You and I with milk mustaches. Rochelle is my editor and producer, and she's a whiz with Photoshop. So
perfect.
Bring on all the inappropriate jokes.
I think that'll be a good 90s vibe too. Because we're both 90s kids.
I think so. Well, now that we've talked about milk for like 15 minutes, let's talk about wrestling.
Smooth transition.
Thank you. I'm a professional. Thank you. So at what point were you like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be a professional wrestler and break my parents' dreams?
Oh yeah, no, did that for sure. About multiple times over.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably when I was, I would say I kind of made the final decision like 15. I'm like, I'm going to do this.
Oh, young.
Yeah.
Very young.
Yeah. But like, I knew there was no way my parents would ever let me train when I was in high school. So that wasn't going to happen. So I started training right after high school, basically.
Okay.
When I was in my first year of university.
Same.
Nice. Yeah, my parents were like, don't let this affect your grades. I'm like, totally no.
Yeah,
like,
of course not. Yeah.
Very bad for the GPA.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started training, I think November 2005. And then had my first match February 2006.
Good.
Because you know how it is, when it's like, oh, you're a woman who can kind of bump, like, here's your first match, right?
And you were like, I don't know what I'm doing.
No, not at all.
I don't know who I am.
No. Oh, I was wearing La Senza yoga pants. Like, let's get real here. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't even have time to. I didn't even go to Hot Topic. Like, come on, go to Hot Topic at least.
I was wearing Tracy Brooks's gear because
Nice.
she had moved to the States and left a bunch of stuff, and I was like, "Oh, this looks like it will fit." Tracy, can I wear this? It's not even mine. But yeah. It's so funny when you go out for your first match. Like, you are so lost to the world. You have no idea what's going on.
It was pretty funny. So, luckily for me, it was against Becky Lynch.
Oh, nice.
She was in Vancouver at the time.
Amazing first match.
Right? And she, even though she's like our age, she's like 87 as well.
Yep.
She was training at like 15 in Ireland, right? So by the time she was where we were, or in Vancouver, she had been wrestling for 3 years already. So I'm like, oh my God, she's a vet.
It's funny how your perception, for sure, though. I get it.
Because now someone 3 years in, I'm like, you don't know anything yet, you know?
But they know more than you, and that's all that you like base it
100%. 100%. And she was amazing. Like, obviously, like, look at her now. Obviously, she was amazing 3 years in, too. So that was a really good first experience.
Yeah. Like, where do you go from there?
Down. Well, and then it was like me and my friend Veronica wrestling each other a bunch. Veronica Weiss, who started training the same time I did. So,
okay.
So just a bunch of girls who've been training for 3 or 4 months, having matches now, and
that's how it goes, though.
You know, it's women's wrestling, right? Yeah. That's how it goes. So, especially back then, like, you know how it was.
Yeah.
Like, there's like a group of like 2 or 3 of you, and you're married to each other for ever, and then that's it.
That's true. No, that's exactly how it goes, and I think especially amongst Canadians, it's even more limited until you either decide to like dance across the border and hope for the best, or like, have you been able to travel much?
Like across, like to the States and stuff?
Yeah, have you wrestled much in the States?
I did, and then I got banned a few years ago.
Oh, you got black flagged?
Not even red flagged. Yeah.
Red flagged?
So, no, done. 5 year. Yeah, but is what it is. I mean, I had a lot of opportunity down there, and did a ton. Like, I was at Shimmer for like 10 years straight almost. It felt like a long time. And I did a couple things with WB and stuff like that, like the Mae Young Classic and things like that,
which is incredible.
So, it was like that was a cool experience. It wasn't like something that I'm like, oh yeah, that's my number one top experience or anything. It's just kind of a weird. It wasn't like, it's not quite my vibe. It wasn't quite my atmosphere. But like,
actually, it's interesting that you talk about that because was this the first Mae Young Classic that you did?
I was an alternate on the first one, and then I did the second one.
Okay. I was supposed to do the first one. I got injured. So
I remember hearing you were supposed to do the first one.
Yeah, and then I was like, nope, I can't do it. I like literally had the worst concussion I've ever had in my life.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I just went too hard. I'm too excitable. I split my face. Long story short, I went to go do like a pop-up from the ring to the top rope. I was a lot stronger than I had been previously. Like, I actually eat food now, not just base my diet on cigarettes and caffeine. And
the early 2000s stuff.
Yeah. The Divas era. Looked great. Yeah. Zero functionality.
Yeah, those pictures though. Everything else, garbage.
Yeah, except for the eyebrows. No eyebrows.
No eyebrows. No. Eyebrows didn't exist until 2012.
Yeah, exactly. And now we pay money to have eyebrows. So it's really great planning in the beauty industry. But I overshot the turnbuckle. I headbutted the beam.
No.
Yeah, I split here. I had to go get my face glued. I landed on my feet. I ta-da'd. But there was 2 seconds where nothing. And I had no idea I was bleeding until everyone started panicking. And then I was like, oh, well, that's shit. And I just thought, I'm 30. I've been out of the business for 5 years at that point, probably almost 6. And I thought, I've been really lucky. I had a good run. This is maybe not a good idea.
Right.
And then I flew to St. Martin with my sister the next day. I had this trip already planned. And for a good week following, I've told this story a bunch of times, but I think it's important for people to understand the severity of post-concussion syndrome, because it's really only had a focus in the past few years. It wasn't a thing for us growing up.
No,
but
not
I
at all.
Could not remember the word "the" was gone. Do you know how hard it is to talk without the? I was literally I was really fucked up.
Wow.
Yeah, people speak of the halos and the light sensitivity. I didn't have any of that, but I had serious lapses in my memory, and I just thought, oh fuck, what have I done? It was it was really scary, and I was like, am I gonna come back from this? Because this is not good. No. And then 4 years later, I was like, I'll go back to wrestling now.
We're good. Fuck it.
People already know that it's not the lights are on, but they're mostly flickering. It's okay. It's part of who I am. But sorry, back to the Mae Young Classic. As someone who has worked for WWE, I was curious how, because it was integrated with WWE talent and independent women. Was there a huge divide? Was it was it Shimmer? Was it a big sisterhood project?
I think from what I saw at least, and there's 32 girls plus 3 or 4 alternates running around, so you can only see what your piece of the pie is, right?
True.
So I actually had a really fucking weird experience because the girls were all great. Nothing wrong with the girls at all. Yeah. And both in WWE and the independent talent, everyone, from what I could see, was getting along, and from what I experienced.
Right.
Especially, it's the first time I met, a lot of those UK, NXT UK girls.
Right.
And they were, all so sweet, and they were awesome. And it was just overall a good vibe. So I had a really weird medical thing, though.
Oh.
It's I don't think I've ever really told this. I've alluded to it, but I've never told this story in depth.
Okay.
So I get very... my heart rate spikes when someone's checking my heart rate.
That is so weird. I have that with my blood pressure.
There you go. So same idea, right? It's that, lab coat effect or whatever you call it, right?
100%.
I've never had any heart issues. Yeah, I've never... And my heart rate, it's been like that since I was younger. So when I was swimming those 30 hours or... Okay, I always bump it up every time I say how long.
Yeah.
My
48 hours.
a week, when I was training the most I was training, so in the best shape I could have possibly been in, I still would get if I checked my heart rate, I'd get a high heart rate.
Interesting.
But if I was just it didn't affect me negatively, and if I just had a heart rate monitor, it'd be fine,
right?
Throughout the day. But when you check my heart rate, it would spike.
It makes sense.
Yeah, so kind of weird, right? So they checked. So when I did a tryout with them a year and a half before this.
Yeah.
they checked my heart rate and they're like, that's really high. And I'm like, yeah, like, I've never had heart, blah, blah, blah. They're like, okay, like, we're not going to prevent you from doing the tryout. Okay. But if you start to get dizzy or whatever, you have to sit out. I'm like, I won't. Like, it's not, like, I've been wrestling at this point for 10 years.
Yeah. You've got it covered. I've been an
athlete my whole life. Like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But, okay, fine. So, we're going for the pre-screening for the tournament. And I'm like, fuck, are they going to say something about my heart rate? For sure. Yep. Heart, and it like spiked even more than usual. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Because you knew.
Right? It was like 120.
Oh,
like, resting. What the fuck? Like, what am I having a heart attack right now?
Kind of.
Like, it was crazy. And I was like, oh no. And they're like, have you drank a lot of coffee? Did you have pre-workout? I'm like, no, none of that. Like, it's not usually that high, obviously, but like, it's just, so it got down to like less than that, but that was the highest it was while resting. So they're like, we can't let you do this. So like, they're like, you have a heart problem or something. I'm like, I don't, I promise, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, we need to send you to a heart specialist. So they sent me to a heart specialist. So they weren't going to let me be in the tournament. So they sent me to a heart specialist. And I was just like, I can't believe I fucking flew all the way from Vancouver to Florida to not even be able to compete. Like, it was so annoying. Like, I was so frustrated. But like, I understood where they were coming from, obviously. Like, I'm not shitting on them, but it was just so frustrating.
I hope they covered the bill.
Oh, they did. Like, it was all under them and everything. So I had no medical, like, no, like, expenses for me at all. Good. So I went... They did all these tests or whatever. They're like, yeah, no, your heart's fine. And they're like, maybe like for the next 24 hours, we want you to wear this thing just in case, blah, blah. I'm like, I need to be cleared by the time I'm out of this office. Yeah. And they're like, okay, you're cleared. I'm like, okay, thank you. Good. Yeah. Cause he's like, oh, okay. He's like, I wasn't really worried about it. So you're fine. So then they cleared me. Okay. Yeah. And then I went back to the PC and I was like, I got cleared. Right. And then like, Canon Seaman was like, oh, I don't know, still, we might not let you, blah, blah, blah. But then he was like, just kidding. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, ha.
Not funny, not funny.
I'm going to pretend that was funny, but it was not funny. Yeah, so then I got to compete, which was great. Yeah. Except that my gear kept falling off my body both my matches. I just was having gear malfunction after gear malfunction. So it was just a comedy of errors, really. Yeah. So yeah.
Was it your favorite experience?
It was fine. Like, there's a bunch of people there I love, and it was great or whatever. So that was fine. But it was just like, oh man, like. It's just like, why did they hire me after? What a fucking, what a wonder. You know? It's like this bitch with a high heart rate whose gear keeps falling off and her tits are popping out. Like, oh yeah, let's hire that hot mess right there.
Why wouldn't you? That sounds like a great character.
I know, the fucking mess. Like, like, everyone can relate to me. You know, I'm a very relatable person.
I support you. I'd buy your t-shirt.
Well, I just naturally do all that stuff anyway, so it's fine. That's my character, I guess. We'll call it a character, not just like me being a mess in real life or anything.
No, it's your character.
Yeah. I really get deep in my character, you know.
So what have you been doing these past like year and a half, 2 years during COVID?
So I didn't lose my job or anything. I got to work the whole time, which was great. You're a firefighter, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like I work for a city. I do a municipal job. Too,
oh, okay.
So
that's
we
great.
Got lucky. Yeah. So, and I've been working with the same city since I started wrestling, actually, for 15 years.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, I started as a lifeguard and then like.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, now I'm full time. Like, basically, I run a recreation center. Like,
great. Get that pension, girl.
Right. That's the plan.
Medical benefits.
I know. It's pretty sweet. And we didn't get laid off at all during the pandemic, which was great.
You're essential.
So I can, I don't know if recreation's essential.
It's essential.
Let's go with, it's so essential. It's so essential.
Well, you're a city worker, and that kind of like supersedes like.
There you go.
Deeming what's essential. So
exactly.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, so that worked out nice, and then. For some reason, me and my husband and our two friends decided to start a wrestling school during the pandemic.
Okay.
when things are shut down, what a good way to waste your money, right?
Wow.
But no, it was great. It's like we have such a cool group of people here that we train with all the time.
Awesome.
And just a lot of young guys who are like really hungry and really talented. So
what's your school called?
Lionsgate Dojo, because
okay.
There's a Lionsgate bridge nearby. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
When did you guys open your door?
So the four of us trained with another company before. Like it's kind of like the school is like an offshoot of a company.
Yeah.
But we decided to just do our own thing because we wanted to.
Yeah, of course.
So this one it opened August 2020, and but we've all been training for a while before that. Like my husband, he's been training for like 15 years at this point now.
Wow.
So and yeah, I've been like helping with training for the past like 8 years probably, and then same with the other two. So yeah.
And so what's your plan now? So you've got the stupid big resounding X from travel. Are you going to keep wrestling locally, or what's your plan?
Sure.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
so that's what I've been doing, right? And it's like so our first set of shows locally. So I took a year and a half off because pandemic, obviously,
of course,
right?
Yeah.
Like everyone else in Canada did, basically.
Yeah, we didn't really have a choice.
Yeah, exactly. I know, that's why people are like, oh, wow, a year and a half off. I'm like, there were no shows, literally. Like,
what were you gonna do?
None of us could do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when did September, I think, was the first show back. So, yeah, it's only been a couple months, but I've been having a lot of fun, like, because we were training the whole time anyways, so it didn't really, there was, like, some rust, obviously, but not too much, and the performer part of wrestling, the performance part, it's always come really easy to me, so that's never something I need to, keep
up.
Sort of thing. It's more the cardio that I need to worry about.
It only takes 2 weeks to get back anyway, so you're sorted.
Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah. Unless you have a very unhealthy wine habit like I do, it might take a little longer than 2 weeks. Maybe 3 weeks. Who's to say? Yeah, so it's been really fun, and I've been wrestling just people I like wrestling a lot. So we have, like, again, a ton of local talent here that's super good. So I just kind of wrestle for happiness, I don't really worry about anything beyond that.
I think that's the best way to look at wrestling, because it is supposed to be fun. And
right?
I think it gets lost on you if you're focusing on like one or two major companies that you want to work for.
Yeah.
And I find a lot of people, once you get there, it's not what you thought it was.
That's it, right? And you think like, I have this like theory about just in life chasing happiness, not chasing success.
Yeah.
Because like I think people think success will bring them happiness, but there's always something more. So it's like you get signed by WWE. Okay, well, what if you just like are waiting around in catering? Like, so is that success? Like, no. And you're not happy because you're not doing what you love. So, like, I don't know. It's, I've been very happy with my life choices that I've made. Like, I've always been able to do that, and not, like, a few times I'm like, oh, maybe I should try to get signed. But, like, I never even emailed WWE until right before, like, I don't know, like in like late 2016.
Really?
And I'd been wrestling for almost 10 years or more than 10 years at that point. I was just like, oh, hey, honestly, you guys are here. Can I get some extra work? And they're like, yeah, and here's a tryout. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, it was that easy the whole time? And then...
But that wasn't your path. That wasn't your journey.
No,
I think that should be everyone's mantra, especially after the pandemic. Like, you should be chasing happiness.
Yeah, and... that looks different for everybody. Like I'll do like interviews sometimes, and they'll be like, "Oh, you should be signed," or whatever. Like whatever. People just say that to be nice, right? Or like they're trying to make conversation. Yeah. I'm sure they believe that, but it's like one of those things where I'm like, well, maybe that's not what I want. And like I like having the balance of having my real life, of having a job. And, all that, and being able to complete a degree and, do all that stuff and then wrestle on the side. Because if I just make wrestling my job, I feel like I'll lose the passion for it a bit.
Absolutely.
Right?
It can't be your be all end all. It can't.
Yeah.
I've watched it destroy people, and I'm sure you have, being in the business
so many times.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart when people dedicate everything to like wrestling and to like get signed and everything. And it's very admirable to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. And then they get released, which how many people have gone released in the last year and a half?
Just yesterday. Fuck.
Oh my God. Brutal, right?
Yeah.
And some of those names that got released, I'm like,
I know.
Are you fucking kidding me? Right? I'm huge fans of a few of those people for sure.
Yeah.
And like they work so hard, blah, blah, blah. And then when it's done, some of them lose their passion for wrestling.
Oh.
Because they got burned by it, right?
Completely.
And it's like, that's so sad. Like, it's like you said, it's supposed to be fun.
It's supposed to be fun. But ultimately, it is a job. So
yeah,
you have to have balance. Like, I think in order for it, you have to make it not your job, which means you need another job usually.
Yeah. Maybe it either needs to just be your job and not your passion, or just be your passion and not your job. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe something to that.
I agree. I fully agree. Like when wrestling was my job, I didn't love it anymore. And that's why I left.
Awful.
Yeah, because I didn't want to be that person anymore. I didn't want to be that girl in the locker room. I was like, I'm not happy. And I'm in a position now where I'm kind of like a vet or whatever. And I'm like...
and that's so weird, by the way.
Yeah, like 25. I was like... But, like, I remember those people in the locker room that were disgruntled and grizzled, and all I could think as a young, hungry person was like, just leave then.
Totally. 100%.
So people always say, like, why did you leave in when you were technically at your prime or your peak?
Yeah.
And I was like, because I wasn't anymore. Mentally, I was not. And I didn't want to be that person to influence anybody else that were living their dreams or whatever. So
yeah, 100%.
I came back when I was happy.
And I'm sure there are people who have found a way to make, like, people, I look at someone like Bayley or whoever, who's like, she's clearly very passionate about wrestling.
Yeah.
And I know she loves it. Like, we're buddies, so we've talked about that. I know she loves it, and she's very successful.
Yes.
And it's a good job for her, right? But,
right.
So I guess there's obviously people
exceptions.
Like that.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's like, I think for the majority of us, that's really, I don't know if that's super realistic for the majority of people to expect to have the best of both worlds come together,
And to also be able to take that approach, not being cookie cutter. Like Bayley is not cookie cutter, and
she's amazing.
She's amazing. Don't get me wrong, but you know what I mean when I say cookie cutter, because no matter Bayley's actually done really, really well. She's actually been kind of the exception to the rule, because she's gotten huge pushes, regardless of with the big man upstairs saying, "Well, I want them to look this way," and whatever.
Yeah.
So it could happen, but you're right.
It could happen, but it's not.
The chances of it happening are very slim.
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't want to keep you forever. I feel like we could talk.
Okay. Yeah, we could talk more about milk if you want.
Let's go into milk. No. I like to end every podcast with my 10 tailor-made questions. It's kind of like a speed round, but don't feel rushed in your answers.
Okay.
What's one beauty product you cannot live without?
I guess concealer. Oh no, dry shampoo.
Oh yes.
There you go.
What is your favorite exercise?
Deadlifts.
You know what? Who was I talking to last? Oh, it was Laura Claire James. She's a Brit who moved to LA, and she's kind of over wrestling now, but she did wrestle for about 10 years. And she said her favorite exercise was watching TV, and I still can't get that out of my head. So I wasn't even laughing at deadlifts. I was just like, oh God, is someone else going to say it?
Oh, now I regret not saying like bicep curls with wine or something. Damn.
Double fisted wine. That's okay. I appreciate it either way. What is your biggest pet peeve?
I hate it when people don't know how to write proper emails.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like people who... It grinds my gears.
So like in like an introductory statement, your point, signing off just properly.
Proper grammar, proper tone, putting some periods in there once in a while. If you're doing a list of things like bullet points, like just Especially when people are on the computer all the time. Like, I know this is basically your job. If someone's just sending me a one-off email who never emails, that's fine.
You have grace, but it's just like if you work in an office, you should be better.
Come on.
That makes sense.
Where's your etiquette here? Where's your email writing etiquette?
Get it. Who is your celebrity crush?
Oh. Oh, God, sorry. I've been, like, with the same person for 15 years, so, like, do I look at anyone sexually anymore? I don't even know.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, okay, let me think about it. There's people, obviously. Okay, let me come back to that. I'm going to think about that.
That's fine. Or we could just say pass. I love my husband. Okay. Or, like, whatever.
Oh, that's so cheesy.
Yeah.
Like, totally. Pass. Oh, my husband. Like,
it's fine. You know what? I appreciate it. You and your nuclear upbringing, loving your husband and shit. Jesus Christ.
Here's this, and of course, let's just make this the most boring couple ever. He also has one sibling, 2 parents still together, too.
God, did he drink a lot of milk?
Yeah, I think he did.
Oh, man. Okay, we'll leave it there, because I think that's the perfect answer. What is your favorite band or artist?
Ooh, so I love Rancid.
Amazing.
Yes, Rancid. I'll give a top 3: Rancid, No Doubt, and Local Age. This is kind of like grunge 90s band. Nirvana's up there too. So
I know all of these. Yes, I know all of these. Big fans of all. Good choices.
Nice. I'm like you'll appreciate these choices.
Yes.
See your Tragic Kingdom inspired. Yes. Like, yeah.
And I had Lars Frederiksen on the show. A few months ago, and I was just like, I don't know how to not fangirl you in like a totally platonic way, but he's honestly the biggest wrestling fan I've ever met.
I'm so jealous of like you and like Ruby having like a cool relationship with him, and I'm just like, I love you too. Reach out. He's probably a huge fan of you. This is the joke. I don't think so.
That's how I felt. And then I was like, oh, you know who I am? Like, oh, he's such a fan of the sport. Like, dude, reach out. He'll appreciate it.
I might go like so red, even just maybe that's my celebrity crush is Lars.
He was
there it is.
Definitely up there in my celebrity crushes. I was like, he has a tattoo on his face. Of course I have a crush on him. Like definitely top 10.
Girls always love bad boys.
Right? Okay, do you have a secret vice like drinking a glass of wine in the shower?
Oh, I love drinking a glass of wine in the shower. I don't think that's much of a secret vice, me drinking wine, honestly, because I kind of made it part of my persona in life. Okay, secret vice.
It can just be that. It's okay.
That's it. Honestly,
yeah, girl.
That's it. I love. We bought electric scooters recently, and we like scooting to the breweries around here, and like we'll probably do that tonight when Dylan gets home from work.
Great.
Yeah, this is what adulthood looks like when you don't have kids. You know, we're just like, let's grab the electric scooters and go get a beer.
I want to live your life. I'm gonna be honest here.
I'll raise a glass.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then my husband has the worst like recollection of names and faces ever. But then I'll be like, hey, remember like that Shimmer match, the waist lock cartwheel? And he'll be like, yes, and then he'll know who you are immediately just based off that. So,
you know what? I gotta say that spot, like, you're frozen. Oh, there you go.
Oh, there it is.
That spot was like a huge ordeal for Tiana and I, and my trainer had like just watched some lucha show and was like, you guys should do this. And I've never really been able to do it with anyone again, except
it was great.
Thank you. I did it with Sue Young when I came back this last time, but it was like a joke. Like she tried to do it and did it badly.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm glad that stuck with people. That makes me happy.
Yeah, that was because the first match I watched from Shimmer was like UNT.
Oh my God, someone said that
Volume 1, right?
Someone said that Volume 1 came out almost 20 years ago, and it made me want to be sick.
Dude, I know. I started training like a month after Volume 1. Like, yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, right. Let's move on.
What wrestler has the best entrance music? I don't want to talk about it. It's upsetting.
It is. We look great, though. You know, you wouldn't be able to tell. That's what I tell myself, at least.
Yes, that.
Yes. Best entrance music? Well, we have to go with Ruby Soho now.
It is wonderful. What a genius move on her part.
So cool. So smart. How lovely has that been to watch?
Oh, she's so good. That's what
so
she
good.
deserved. That's what she needed.
Yep.
Like, this is... Yes. Yeah.
She's amazing. I love her. We've had some really fun matches.
Oh,
together
that's so
at Shimmer
great.
And stuff. Yeah.
I've never been able
great.
to work with her, but I appreciate everything she's done. And, you know, she looks like she's a real student of the game, and she's passionate, and she's got a character. And anyone that's a bit of a misfit is, you know, has a piece of my heart. So
I always wish I could, like, because, like, I feel like my soul is like that.
Yeah.
But, like, I never, like, I'm just so, like, two parents together, one sibling upbringing looking.
Disagree.
Lots of milk, you know.
See, I'm just gonna leave that there. I don't even want to touch what you just said. It's too perfect. What is your drink of choice? Milk.
Obviously. Red wine is the easy one, or non-alcoholic coffee. Love a morning coffee.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What was your most embarrassing moment in the ring?
Probably my tits popping out in the Mayhem Classic.
WWE. Well done.
you know, just like the biggest like opportunity in my career. Just like boop, you know. Sure.
But what a time. You went for it. You were like, I'm here.
It was in a Northern Light suplex. I was like,
there's nothing you could do about it. It was just... And
the ref was just like, your boobs are out. I'm like, yeah, here we are. It's just like one of those. I'm like, of course. Like, that's just what happens. Oh. Yeah, that's probably up there. I've had way too many wardrobe malfunctions, I feel like, for someone who doesn't really wear particularly revealing gear either. I just have terrible luck.
It doesn't matter. It's what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, like unless we wore a unitard, something's gonna go wrong.
That's it. Even then it'll rip or something, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Something's gonna happen. It's just...
Something will happen.
Okay, last one. Finish this lyric. Sorry, I'm not home right now. Walking in the
spider webs, leave a message and I'll call you back.
Woo! Unlikely story.
But leave a message and I'll call you back. That is a dated song a little bit, hey? Like voice, like leaving.
Yeah.
Because we just look, nope, not answering that. That's what we do now, you know?
So true. It's so true. It's upsetting. Okay, where can our listeners find you on the interwebs?
Mostly Twitter and Instagram, and Matthews Ninja. I made that Twitter handle in 2007 or 8 when, like, I would have probably gone with Nicole Matthews Wrestling now if I were to go back in time. But, yeah, and Matthews Ninja, named after when me and Portia Perez were the Canadian Ninjas.
Oh, my God. So amazing.
I miss that tag team so much.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out.
Of course. It was so fun.